ProductBoard is one of the most popular product management tools out there. I've been using it for a while and many people are using it, especially to create product roadmaps. Today I wanted to go and show you a little bit what you can do with ProductBoard and what type of roadmaps you can create. ProductBoard basically works with different types of boards to visualize the data that you have saved into their databases. You can then visualize this data in different forms, and when we are thinking about product roadmaps, the main three ones are going to be lists, timelines, Kanban or column boards. So let's go into each of these categories and what is their purpose. And I'll be using an example of a personal finance app that is going to help customers or those potential customers to do saving goals, to understand their spending habits, maybe to also budget or track their budgets. So now let's go into ProductBoard. I'm not going to go through all the features in ProductBoard. It's a very, I would say, complex product. You can do a lot of things with it, but I'm going to concentrate now on the different type of roadmaps. I have here the general theme space that is created by default by ProductBoard, and here there are some example categories. I have not removed all of them. I have removed some of them. I have updated and modified and created some new ones, but I just want to show you a little bit how this in principle works. I'm not going to go into how to manage insights, but I just want to let you know that yes, you can have insights of ideas that you're getting for developing your product in the future. You can have them there. These are the examples that come with ProductBoard. I have not touched them, so they are not related to the example I created. The first I said would be the lists and grids. The lists and grids, basically what they are, as I said earlier, are like basically a list of your features, your tasks, features, however you want to call them, basically, just doesn't matter in the end, they're just names. And then you can add columns to customize what or visualize different aspects of your features. So for example, here I have different features that I have added for the personal finance app that are going to be in different status. A very important thing to understand with ProductBoard is that the color coding, it's referring to the status of this feature. It might be just a new idea of a potential feature that could be built in the future. I might not build it at all, by the way. It could be a discovery feature, it could be a candidate, it could be a planned feature. So it's already planned to be implemented. It could be in progress, so under development, or it could be just released. You can modify these ones, you can add your own, just pick what works for you, basically. And in the end here, I have basically different information about what it's for this feature that is related to this feature. So basically, if I just open one of the features, any information that is visualized in like the fields of this feature, I could be visualizing it also in here. So I could add new columns, remove columns to make it suit my needs. So for example, here I have things like who's the owner. Obviously I have created the only one person in this board, but I could see that am I planning already to release or build these features into some new or upcoming version of my product? I could add this here, or that information. Potentially I can see customer report score, obviously not set it up, and different metrics or calculations that are being done. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I could add easily, for example, something like the teams who are working with this one. I believe that I had not added it here, so I could just basically click here, enable it, and now I will have also which ones are the teams that are going to be working in this feature. So I could just drag it maybe in the beginning if I think that that's more relevant information. So why is this important and how this can help me work why is this board? I think that it's relevant for you to use. Well, first of all, I believe that this is the best place for you to manage pretty much any feature. All the other boards, I don't think that they work as well. But here is just a list, so you could just create a new feature here and start adding information. Basically here you are telling in which product you are going to be adding this feature. Obviously you can have a portfolio of products that I had not done here, and you could share, you could basically just add that new feature under that product. And then once you add the feature, you can go and start adding the different information, metadata that you think that is going to be relevant for this feature. So for example, this one doesn't have a team, but I think that this is related to something where, let's say that this second team, I was very creative giving team names. As you can see, the team number 2 would be having the knowledge to do this kind of feature. This is not the only things I can do. I can also put like potential effort, how much I think that's going to take, how much value, business value, I think that this is going to bring. So many information, many metadata that you can add. If you want me to talk more about this and try to talk more about what could be all the information that you can add here in ProductBoard, comment below, let me know, and I can let you know better what kind of information you can be building there. Another thing where I think that this board is interesting is if you do something like a discovery work board. Because here you could have this could be just my, like my backlog of all the features. But for discovery purposes, I might want to have another type of information. For example, if something is planned, the business value, sorry to say, it should not be relevant anymore. It's already planned. You should have done that work. At this point, probably you don't need it. So in let's say if we leave this as all features board, then here that information would not be relevant. So I could just go ahead and maybe say that, well, this feature or these columns maybe are not that relevant anymore for me, because I'm just using this for like, in a way, backlog management. But I might want to do something like a discovery, or let's not remove everything else, but I might want to do something like a discovery or a prioritization framework. They're not exactly the same. I could go, again, if you want that information, let me know. I could do another video going through that. Basically, I'm adding a new, if you notice, I went here, create a new board, chose this untitled grid. Let's call it a discovery board. This is not a roadmap in reality for me, although you could call it a roadmap, but anyways, let's leave it at, let's just call it like this. And now I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to use a filter for features where their status, and I always had to struggle, hitting the microphone there. So the feature status, I believe it is, and I want to only use maybe this potentially a candidate. It depends a lot on how you define it in the company. It might be different things. A candidate can be something that it might be that if you have time, you do it, or it might be that you have advanced quite much and you are still considering, it looks like it might make it, that you have validated the problem, validated the solution, validated the business viability, and all these things, and then you might be still considering if it's one that you are going to be releasing or not. So I will put these ones as part of the discovery work. So now I will have this. And now you can see that because I chose the same features, and I'm in the same team space, I'm using the same backend, it's using the same information of the features that are in this product, and those are the ones that are being shown. You can filter this, or you could actually change this for each one of these boards, and then have it for filter them by different products, by the way. So that could be done. So it's easy to do for like, if you have a portfolio of products, you could easily manage that. So what I would do here now, so if I compare this basically with my other board, by the way, you can drag drop all these things, all these boards in the left hand side. if I compare to the previous one, this includes things that are in progress. So for example, in expense tracking, account linking, which is planned at this point, they will not be visible here because I don't need them there. I don't need them as part of my discovery. They're already planned, they're in progress. It's something that I already committed. It's all good. I don't need to care about them. But when I am working with these ones, I might want to get things like, well, which are the objectives that I think that these features are helping? Are they giving me any or driving me closer to any of these objectives that might be a relevant point of information for me? I might want to add also the default fields or custom properties in the custom fields that effort might not be that clear. What is the effort? But I might, well, as I'm working, I will be discovering what is the business value. So maybe all these things about the potential business value and the potential effort, I'm not sure if I know at that point, but something that I could be investigating as part of the discovery, I could add them here. So that's information that is going to be relevant for me. By the way, I can also create formulas as well. So if you want, you can create your own formula, and there are some already pre-calculated to something like a business value per effort. A name formula that might have been me playing with them earlier, and I believe that this one just divides those two values, but not completely sure where the value is. Here. And now we have two efforts which are interestingly different efforts, which is always not very good for the example, but clearly is doing the calculation between this business value and this effort to calculate that one. Okay, and it's explained here, by the way. So that's really good. So I think that this one can be really good for you while you are doing discovery, that you are actually understanding better that, hey, is this something that we should be doing or not? Is this bringing value to the customers? Do we think that we understand the effort to create this? Do we think that we understand the solution? And as you are building this, you will start building also the potentially the information that you have here. You probably already should know the problem in the moment that you get an idea, or maybe you still have to understand better the problem. That could be one, the problem that you are trying to solve. But you're also, as part of the discovery, I like to also start feeling more information here. Some people can say that this looks like a PRD. To a certain degree, it does. Having this information is going to help your team to understand better what this feature is about. Not just your development team, your product team, but also potentially later on when other stakeholders come in, a product marketing manager would understand that, hey, this is going to be valuable for certain type of personas, and this is going to be their value proposition, this is the underlying problem, and these potentially are the use cases. And you can customize this and add more information or more information to this template, basically. One of the things that while I have been doing this video, I noticed is that in the past, until like 1 month ago or a couple of months ago, there was the potential or the possibility of creating things like value versus effort matrix or using RISE calculation. So different types of famous frameworks were supported by ProductBoard. But apparently, they are relevant to the legacy experience, but not to the new experience. So apparently they are not going to be part of the new experience. And that's a bummer, because some of them, they're pretty good. When I have worked in the past with ProductBoard, one of my favorite ways of actually prioritizing, it was using value versus effort. Is it the best way of prioritizing? Well, let's not go into which one is the best, because we can go into an endless discussion there. It is very visual and it's very easy to explain. And it's very easy for people to understand. Yes, now you had that business effort calculation. That might make you concentrate on, just short-term activities, because they're going to have low effort. they are going to potentially have easier results or higher results, meaning that it looks like they would be more beneficial, and then you're concentrating only on these short-term things that might not take you or might not help you to do the long leaps. And that's, I have a bit of a hard time understanding why they don't keep this, especially because, I mean, it's a way of working that many companies are still using nowadays. So where I think that these features or this grid control, I didn't mention earlier, by the way, you can see all the different types of the main types of roadmaps that you can create here. The grid, the timeline, and the columns, those are the names that they have. And you can see the visual representations that make you understand easily what they are, each one of them. So I was just using a grid one to use this, to create this discovery board. So I think that this is a good one. This discovery board, this type of grid, it's really good for you to do work with features, just add a new features, add it to a release, all those things, the nitty-gritty work of working with the features, even categorize them in different components if you need to do that, like APIs or, I don't know, a 3D engine, whatever it is that the different type of components that you have in your product, or however you decide to categorize components, that's a different story. And it can be great also, in my opinion, to do discovery work. I would say that that's the main value that I see for those ones. Discovery and prioritization, by the way. For me, discovery and prioritization are like two steps, basically of the same process. So first comes the discovery, then you have to prioritize when the things that you have discovered that are potentially valuable, where and why and how you are going to be implementing them. So before I move on, I would like to let you know that I have worked setting these type of processes and operations in different companies. Even if I have been a product leader, I am a person that really likes, and I am very into pro operations and helping people set up the processes to make to translate their thoughts of how things should be done into a let's say a somehow systematic process. So you know when to do things, you know what kind of information is required. So it helps you basically have all the information that you need in order to answer the questions that others are going to have. So I have been doing this for a while. I have worked with different tools, ProductBoard, definitely. I have worked with and set it up also in Notion, and as well as set up some processes in Miro. So if you want to work with me, go check out my website and hit me there if you are interested. You can find the link to my website in the description down below. But let's go back to now the other type of roadmaps, which will be the timelines. Again, as I missed earlier, timeline, you can find it here. So a release time, I have created here two of them. Finally, I don't know, they don't have the same name. One is release timeline, the other one will be the feature timeline. Why? Okay, not everybody wants to have a release timeline, by the way. Some people will be quite, that's interesting. Just to keep it collapsed. No, apparently. Okay. This might be because I'm showing here all the time the sub features, if I'm correct. No, these are features. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I think that now it got me. I don't know why. Used to be able to collapse this one, but for whatever reason, it seems to be showing them. Okay, this is why it's showing them. Because I chosen to have items to be shown. I could even add the sub features, and that would probably show me the sub features for each one of them. Yeah, here. You could see the sub features for all of them and what are the statuses and so on. Okay, going back, I don't have sub features for everything, and to be frank, I had not bothered to change the status of these ones. Probably if you have something in progress, okay, at least these ones are planned. But if this is planned, probably these two sub-features should be planned. Anyways, going back, I'll remove these ones because probably it's a little bit cleaner now. But this could be a very interesting visualization or timeline for people to understand that, hey, during this period is when we are working in this release. And we are planning to release sometime around here. We might not know. Not like that. There was a way of adding, and I don't know if they have removed this because this is new. There was a way of adding milestones, but apparently that's not part of this anymore, of the new experience, because now I'm in the new experience. Some features are not available. It might be also related to the plan because I'm using the free version now. That might be it as well. Anyways, you used to be able to put milestones. So you could have here a milestone with like a milestone logo or icon and then having there the name that, hey, version 1.2 is planned to be released on 13th of April, whatever is the date. With these versions, then I can show all, with these releases, I can show what it's, what it's included in that release. And by the way, as you can see, I had this as upcoming. Probably this would not be upcoming. This will be in progress because that's where we are at, and some of the tasks are already in progress. You could argue that this probably should stay to, it probably started the development at the same time as the feature included there is. Anyways, that's details. But it makes the board a little bit better. It might be that for whatever reason, this second feature with the account linking, we had not started working, and we are going to be starting working a little bit later. Remember to save, because if you don't save, it keeps it for yourself, but it doesn't share to all the other team members, which can be a painful thing because you might think that everybody's seeing the same as you're seeing and nobody else is seeing what you're seeing. Yeah, that's not very good. So that's not very nice from this one. So that would be one. Release management, that's a good one. The other one is that you can also do, for example, capacity estimation. So you could add here information about your teams. I could even remove the owner potentially from here. So if I don't want to see so much, I could remove the owner to make it a bit cleaner. And maybe remove the health because I don't think I set it up for anything. And I could say that, hey, team 1 is working on this, team 3 is working on this, team 2, they might already be working on this, or who knows what they're working, or maybe they're just free and maybe I had to do something with them. But then you can estimate which team is working on what, and are they having gaps, or are they having some free time, or they are completely overloaded. Usually people don't have free time and teams don't have free time. Usually what you're doing is just putting too much work for them. But that will help you understand a bit how you are distributing the work for that upcoming version, or that work or features that you have planned at this point. The next type of board that you can be using in ProductBoard is the Kanban board, or what they call nowadays, I think, is column board. Yeah, columns board. This one can be used for what you would do in Kanban. So have like the statuses of different features or sub-features for that matter. One thing to have in mind is that the sub-features inherit from the parent feature. I never really tried it. You might be able to just do it for sub-features. And I would not be surprised that I could just maybe work with the board and in the board only show sub-features. Yeah, I could probably do that. I'm not sure that I want to do it. Let's just, can I? No, I have to do feature and sub-feature. I cannot just apparently add sub-features per se. So that is not possible. I'm not going to change it because I'm not going to say apply because I didn't change anything. But basically, you are getting the sub-features and they are linked to their parents, meaning that the status comes from the parent and not the sub-feature. So here I have things that are planned, which should be here, but in reality, they are here. So that's something to bear in mind, and maybe some potential problem that you will see. that you could have at some point. You could argue that yes, you could use this as the place to work with your features, and that would be totally fine. For whatever reason, I like more the list view, but this could be one that you could use. Just one thing that you have to bear in mind is that you have to remember that many times you might have removed some of these columns just because you want to make it a little bit easier for yourself. You might go and do this and say that feature status. I always hit the microphone when I do that apparently, and I would say that hey, I'm using this only for what it's now being worked with and what it's planned potentially. And I could say that another one is that I want to see this only for, I believe I probably could do this for maybe features. I believe it might be features that are in a specific release. Yeah. So I could say that, hey, take this with the ones that are in the release group. That is, this one is the release group that I have created. There are different release groups. You can just create your own. You can have something simple like what's working now or coming now, next, and later, and stuff like that. So it depends on how you work and what works in your company. But I could say this, and now I could just see, okay, what it's being included for this version. Or something that is tied to a version, by the way, sorry, and that it's only either in progress or plan. Maybe I don't want to see at this point the other one. So you can create these filters and apply them to your boards very easily. Again, remember to save. And then another one that I see very commonly used is something like a release candidates roadmap. This is very typical to have or release roadmap, where you will have what are the different releases and what I think are the features that are coming. Probably I will not show that. I would not want to have that visible because I only want to be potential releases where I have some kind of plan. I might not have a very specific plan. I might know that, hey, during the next, not this month, but after I finish with this one, I'm going to start the discovery of this. It might be that I don't release anything. That's a different story. That something is there is not necessarily that we are going to have something to release, but sometimes we will have something to release. I think that for me, this one is really great for the type of Kanban board to understand what are the features that you are working with and what are their statuses. And also, I think that something that is very valuable is to have this kind of a release roadmap. In many companies, in some companies, you are not going to use this because of how you work. Maybe you don't have it in this way and you have it with the now, next, later, however you call those, what is coming in different phases. But basically, this gives you a visibility of what's coming. And if you want to work with others, this is probably one of the best tools or best boards. So if you're wanting to work with sales or with product marketing, they really want to understand that, hey, now there's going to be these two features. I need to start working with them. I need to plan the content, the promotion. I need to understand who are they for, and so on. You might want to have different ones. So you might want to have an internal, let's call this internal roadmap. I'll call this internal roadmap. And let's do a new version of this. So you can see how it is done. Let's do a columns roadmap. And we are going to call this public or external roadmap. It doesn't mean that it's public necessarily, that I make it available to everybody outside. It might be that I do it. I think that you had that capability. I've never done it, but I think that you can do that with ProductBoard. I would add here the items. There's different ones that you can choose. I never choose these ones, but it might work for you. Maybe I'm too down to the nitty-gritty of doing it, but I'm very comfortable or like doing it this way. I want to put just the features. I don't know if I want to put the sub features. Well, let's put the sub features just in case. And I want to add a filter here. So I don't want to show everything in an external roadmap for a reason, and I'll explain you why. is that I want to show only things that are like this. I might keep the released if for whatever reason I just released and they want to see the latest version of what was just released, and I have it there. But I want to hide all the new ideas, discovery candidates that for whatever reason are tied to a release. So if I'm going to be doing release, okay, let's finish this one. I then show in the columns the releases, and okay, this is going to show me the versions. Maybe I'll include this one. Probably there's nothing, and that's why it's hiding it, and probably there's no content that is relevant. And now show it. Something that I like to add maybe sometimes in this one is to show the health. If you are using that, it's a nice one that it tells you that, hey, if somebody is working on this, they can say that this feature is now on track. Usually you should write something, but I'm going to be lazy. And I could say that, hey, this one, we're getting close to the release and nobody has started working with it. This doesn't look great. Might be at risk. Might be not that bad that it's off track, but it might be at risk. So I get this visibility and I understand that, well, this probably doesn't make sense to have the health at this point. Or I could just say that, hey, for this one, we think that it's on track because it's still on the plan. So we could just keep it like that. Good. There we are. So now I have an understanding that if somebody comes here, they can come and check. They can go see the information on the feature. Let's say I'm a salesperson or a marketing person. I come here. I see that this is on track. I had to start working on this. This is a risk. Like, is this going to make it or not? Well, if I had to prioritize, I concentrate on this. Then I'll come back to this later once I finish with this one. Hopefully this is back on track and it's going to make it to the release and I'll start working with it. Or maybe I just go and work in other things that I'm pretty sure that they will have work to do. But the thing is that now you have, the idea of this is that you have an internal roadmap that allows you to have a deeper understanding. You could add that information, by the way, of the health also here. You could set it up. So that's, now that I set the health, it will just inherit from those features. And I could see the same basic data. I don't have the sub features, but if I want, I can just also add them there. I believe I will have to add them here. Yes, I could add the sub features, apply, and now I have basically similar views. And I can see also the information of all those sub-features. But now, the important thing here is that as a product manager, I want to understand what is the status of my discovery work. And this is great. Now I can do that. I can see it, I can work with it, I can really go here and understand what is this, if we are progressing, if we have understood better now, what is the business value, what is the problem, maybe that we are solving, do we really understand that problem or not? Again, remember to save. And also, well, whatever is the work that you're doing for discovery in different aspects or different stages, different features will need different type of discovery work. So you can understand that maybe somebody from sales doesn't need to see this because they don't understand. Okay, so if you're using this with sales and they come here and they see custom dashboards, version 13, they probably can go to a customer and say that, hey, we're going to have that custom dashboards. But they don't know that this means that this is a discovery, which means that we might or we might not have something available after this one, or we might drop the whole thing together because we see that there's no business value. So understanding this, I mean, if you share this roadmap with them, you might have a problem. Then ideally, you can have this external one that's the one that you share with them. And yes, so I haven't done this, but you can create team spaces and you could have a general team space that everybody has access, and you could create your own internal team space. And things like the internal roadmap, the discovery board, potentially all the features board, could be there. Potentially a release timeline and an external roadmap could be in the general one. So everybody has visibility, and then you have the team space for your own team that only the people that you want has visibility into that team space. So this has been a quite long video about how to set up and the different types of roadmaps in ProductBoard. Maybe it would make sense to make a shorter version of this one, but I wanted to show you how to use ProductBoard and how to use the roadmaps in ProductBoard, or the boards in ProductBoard. Let's call it, I guess that they call them boards because it's a ProductBoard. There. Anyways, what I think are the key takeaways for you when using ProductBoard. First one, always remember to save. If you don't save, nobody else is going to see the changes that you have done. And I've seen it again and again that somebody's showing a board and everybody's like, I don't see that. I don't know what you're talking about. I cannot see that. It's like, and they have forgotten to save when they have edited, created a new board, or they have modified an existing one. ProductBoard is a little bit tricky with ownership and who can modify or delete boards. So I think that it depends on who created. That's the person that can then edit them or potentially delete them. I believe that maybe edit to a certain degree they can, but they might have to create a copy or stuff like that. So that's not great. On the other positive thing, I think that it's great that everything is connected in the backend to the same database, and then you can just create different views. So I would call them more like views or call them boards, whatever, but basically you can create those different visualizations of the data that you have in the backend. That's what you are doing in practice. So this is really good because you can just create, spawn new boards very easily, as you saw that I was doing. So that's, I think, very neat and really good work from the ProductBoard people. It is highly customizable. You can customize all the data. I believe I don't think I've hit many roadblocks on when trying to customize the data. And when you customize the data, you can think about things, for example, the statuses. I was showing the different statuses that you have out of ProductBoard. I already added the discovery one there. You can add different ones. So you can add different statuses that you want to work with. And this applies to pretty much all the data. And I think that ProductBoard, compared to other tools out there like AHA, is more focused on product discovery. But now, if I think more about the downside of ProductBoard, or the maybe not so good things, I think that this new experience, and I know every time that a new experience comes in a product, everybody is like, this is the end of the world, this is the worst experience ever. I don't think this is the worst experience. I think it works quite well with how it works earlier. I just miss some things that used to work and are not going to work. And I'm referring especially about this value versus effort, which I think is a very common way in many companies to prioritize, that is used to prioritize. The fact that they have gotten rid of it, I think that's a big no-no in my opinion, or a big problem. So I would like to see that staying. And unfortunately, it looks like some of these things that are in the legacy features, they're just going to disappear. And that's a problem for me. And then, as I said, it requires a lot of work in setting up the process, setting up the workflow that you want to do. It will require somebody in your team to take care of manage it. The reality is that what I'm seeing with these tools in many companies is that the setup is so complex that sometimes companies stop or use them or misuse these products because they don't take the full advantage. I'm not saying that the products are not good. I'm not saying that they have a lot of potential. They do. But because of the complexity of setting them up and keeping them running, that's a problem for many companies. And here, as I said earlier, this is something that I could help you with if you want to contact me. So what about you? What do you think about the roadmaps in ProductBoard? Do you like them? You don't like them? I think that is a very good offering. I think that is a very good all-in-one tool, although maybe some of the new changes with this new experience might be taken away some of the parts of like how to do prioritization, I believe, in a proper way, especially if you are thinking about an all-in-one product. I still could, do parts of that prioritization in one product. But when you want to be, like the one platform for product managers to do their work, I mean, there's never a one platform. They start to go into one direction, but maybe that's not so good at this point. And I just noticed this when doing this review. If you want me to continue doing this type of reviews, please let me know in the comments below. What would be the product and what would be what you would like me to be reviewing? Is it an overall review of the product, or would you like me to talk about some specific workflows and how to implement them in something like ProductBoard or something like Notion? Just let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and next you might want to check out this video where I compare different product management tools. I will see you in the next one, and remember, stay safe.